Hey everyone, John Henry here from School of Trade. Today we're going to be looking at a long trade here on crude oil, looking long at 50.45 back up. We've been sitting on this area for quite a while where this big spike up led into a nice little channel that we're seeing right here, and you can see prices rotating back and forth really cleanly through that whole move. So because of that, we're looking to take this next follow-up long with this beautiful little candle right here, giving us all the reason to hop in and just looking to ride this thing up back to channel highs. So with that channel high move, it's not a huge channel by any means. So from our entry at 45, by the time we hit the channel highs, you know, it's at 10 ticks right now, it might be 20 ticks, right? It just kind of depends on where we are in this move. Now, the overall movement itself, we do also have to concern ourselves with this prior swing here at 50.55. The overall range on the day is really weak, right? We're not seeing a big follow-through in terms of the overall movement on the day. It's a little bit lackluster in that sense because it's such kind of a slow start to the morning, and you can really see that on just this back and forth, really choppy inside here. So because of that, we need to be a little bit careful, but still looking good to the upside. Overall, looking back up, I think the primary target around 55 doesn't look terrible. It definitely could look better, mainly because it's only a 10-tick target. But the one big thing that we are looking at is the fact that, well, what happened back here, right? We had this big spike up after a slight little blow off of the lows, right? Well, then what happened after that? Well, we got this big spike down. And importantly, that big spike down broke that last swing low, but it got stuck there. You see how it got stuck right on there, opens and closes in that same level? And now we're going back up. So it's expected that we break through this high. The big part of this is how far we go in order to break that high. That may just be a measured move, you know, from this low all the way back up to the highs and just kind of equal out, or it might be this X amount of distance past. Right, if we blew off that far down to 50.08, about 5 extra ticks, then we could be looking for a push back through the highs up here at around 50.60. So the overall movement itself, we're definitely looking to take some profit here back at that swing high at 55, but we don't want to take a ton off, primarily just because there is a possibility that we go through that level, right? We've got that 50.60 level, and above that we have some other areas that might cause a little bit of sort of interest, if you will, in terms of the upside, and that would be around 50.60, and that could be as far as even a 2-to-1 in this sense, where if it doubles down on what it did to the downside back up, you're looking at a possible move, I mean a huge move, all the way back up to, in this case, 51s, right? You've got the $51 mark to kind of concern yourself with. So with the $51 mark, that's going to be the final target, right? That's where we're looking for that final move, just a big old press higher off of this slight little channel, if it wants to double down on this initial move, right? We moved up, we kind of overshot that level by 5, and actually you can even kind of split this up a little bit. Take one off there, take one off at the 5-tick overshoot, and then look for that final runner all the way back up to a double down at 51, and that will complete a really nice move. So with 3 contracts, if we get the first one filled, it's $100, it's 10 ticks. The second one is going to lock in another 15, so that's another 150. And then if this thing does really want to push and get that double down, you're looking at 51, that's 55 more ticks. Which, you know, 55 ticks doesn't sound that big, especially considering it's crude oil. But one thing you have to put in mind is we've only had a 47-tick day so far, right? So you're getting more than the day's range by the time you get that 55-tick target. So really good place to be looking for our targets if it wants to really kind of blow out of this initial morning range. Now, again, still being conservative, taking profit off ahead of that because you never know. You might get the runner, but 9 times out of 10 it goes a little bit and then you don't get it. So you want to take a lot of your profit off and then leave 1 or 2 on for a final runner. So if we get that big move, then we're looking at locking in a nice chunk of profit. Got 55, 15, and 10. That locks in 80 ticks if we can get that push up. If not, well, we're still looking at 250, just locking in those 2. So everything looking good, just a matter of time of letting it kind of push up, and, you know, we'll see how long it takes. It has been a pretty slow day, so this may take several hours. It might take 5 minutes, right? It all depends with when it comes to crude oil, but we'll give it the time it needs, and we'll be looking continued up to the long side to see if we can get up to 51. All right, seeing some really nice buying pressure. Whoa. Okay, well, we blew through that level. That wasn't much of a problem at all. Now, in this situation, we have a couple different options. We can go immediately to break even, or because of the choppiness that we've seen so far, especially with that last little rip through the highs, we just got 2 targets taken out all in one shot. So big press higher. One option that we can use is to use that profit that we just made and keep it with our stop back a little ways, right? We've only got one contract left and our stop is 6 ticks, right? So the big thing and the reason why I'm bringing this up is not only is it a whippy day, but really if this move is going to continue higher, we should never break below this low right here. So because of that, we can just leave our stop where it is. It's a 6 tick stop. If we get taken out, we still make 19 ticks on the trade, 190 bucks. So we're not going to be too upset if it comes back on us, but that gives it the breathing room that it needs to really kind of get that push over, right? And because we're looking for such a big move up to 51 if it wants to run, we got to give it that extra move that it needs, that extra room that it needs, rather. So we filled all of the objectives so far. I wasn't expecting that all in one candle, but hey, we'll take it. So that's going to be the move so far, looking for that next push up to 51, and we'll see if we can get that final press up to double down on crude oil's move so far this morning and kind of range out to get that dollar move on the day. So we'll be back in a little bit, see if we can get that 51. All right, we're seeing some huge buying pressure coming back in the market again. We've got our stop locked in at 58, primarily because we had that deep pullback that happened here at 9:30, and then it quickly shot back up again. So honestly, it's another one of those situations where we should never break that low. And we got our target filled. Beautiful. 51 got filled to the tick. We've been sitting in this one for quite a while. That's not really a big surprise. How long have we been sitting in this one? 9:45. It's 8:30. Yeah, so it's not surprised to see us get it taken out right at the head of the line there. But beautiful move up. It's exactly what we were looking for. Got a 55 tick double up, really, on crude oil. That first move initially bursted through that channel high and up into that 5 tick over that we saw down here. Filled those very, very quickly. And then it was just a matter of giving it the space, right? We gave it the space. We let it ride out. We sat in it for a good hour or so and ripped up, and now we got our final target filled at 51. So beautiful move to the upside. Everything we were looking for. Really wasn't expecting this type of movement on crude oil, but when you get situations where you start out the day with a 50-tick range, crude oil usually ends the day with $1.50 to $2 range, so you're probably going to get some movement. And if you give it a little bit of room, sometimes you can pull those big wins out. So that big runner wraps up the trade and wraps up the day for us. So that's going to be the trade. 80 ticks on the move, $800 on only 3 contracts. Not going to be too upset about that. So if you have any questions about it, feel free to send an email to School of Trade. Don't forget to check out our trial at schooloftrade.com. And as always, we'll catch you next time.